All right, hi there. So this is the first time. Oh, okay. So I guess there's going to be some sort of delay, but whatever. This is the first time I've actually tried to stream um, onto, or should I say restream onto YouTube and Facebook and I think a few other places all at the same time. So I just wanted to test out my equipment and see if this is actually working, number one. Hopefully there's some audio out there. I also have a little chat window up here, and I can look and see if anybody out there on those different platforms ends up posting something. So I'll just go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Jason Brenizer. I am the host of an upcoming podcast called Phenomenal Future Podcast, or PFP, and this is a way that I will also get out more video content. So I'm really excited about being able to reach multiple people all at the same time and really build an audience and interact with people. Our whole purpose behind the PFP, Phenomenal Future Podcast and Phenomenal Future Programs, is to get out information on blockchain, NFTs, smart contracts, for artists and luxury brands. And when I say artists, I mean artists of all kinds. I'm talking musicians, I'm talking novelists, I'm talking potentially screenwriters, graphic novelists, fine painters, sculptors. So it could be, we're talking digital world and physical world. Both could benefit from understanding a lot about the blockchain technology. The biggest thing that it can do for you, if you're an artist or a luxury brand, is it gives you the ability to have a direct interaction with your fans and your customers. And both, when I talk about this, it's both the interaction like you would have on social media, but also interaction for live events and things like that. There's a lot of wonderful crossover that we're going to cover in a lot of topics. So here on these video streaming channels, and also video podcast, and of course an audio version of that as well. Then in the future will be people who are very much interested in learning more. We're going to offer some courses and some challenges and programs that we could even do some where we're holding your hand and walking you through the whole process of actually creating smart contracts and getting NFTs out into the hands of your fans, and really turning those people who might be casual listeners or casual readers, casual purveyors of your art, into raving fans who are constantly interacting with you. Looks like we have a little bit of technical difficulty, so my video may be cutting out here and again, hopefully not too many times, but like I said, this is a big test for today. This is also day 2 that I'm recording content, and my whole plan here to get decent at this, to be able to get information out to you and for me to get more comfortable on camera and everything, is to post something, video, daily, and for the next 365 days, and see how that turns out. So bear with me now here at the beginning while we work out all the kinks, and I, of course, get more comfortable on camera and giving you guys information. And so far we don't have any. Ooh, we've got something on chat. How funny is that? That would be John Kirkland. Hi, John. How fun is that having you here? So cool. That's actually working. I've reached somebody. So I've got the little check mark on that. I think the first thing I'd like to cover right now is, before we get into the nuts and bolts of blockchain and NFT smart contracts, all the technical aspects of that, I really wanted to discuss kind of what the benefits are for artists, especially when it comes to getting into this NFT game. And so the first kind of benefit that I can think of is that NFTs allow creators and artists of all different kinds, I definitely talked about a different list here, to cultivate really meaningful relationships and sell directly to fans and collectors. So this whole idea of cutting out the middleman is really important. This translates to the artist, I think. Let's say this. Right now, if an artist, let's say you're an author, okay, you want to sell a book. Well, probably need to get an agent. If traditionally speaking, you get an agent hopefully finds you a publisher. The publisher then gives you a little bit of money up front, and they might give you a deal of printing so many books. It takes forever to get paid for that, for the books that you do sell. It's actually 18 months out, something like that. And the money that you get an intricate report. It's really difficult to read, and there's no way of telling if what the publishing company is telling you is accurate or not. So the delay for getting paid is huge, and they're also taking an enormous cut. So in a traditional publishing world, they would be taking 88%, I think, of the book sales. You'd be getting 12%, and then your agent cut comes from that 12%. So you can see you've done all the hard work of writing your novel or different type of nonfiction book, and yet the publishers, because they had controlled the means of getting the information out to the public, they were the ones making the money. So the way to look at this is the closer you are to the people who are actually paying for the product, the fewer people that are in between you and that, the more money that you're going to make. And with leveraging blockchain and NFTs, you can go directly to your clients. Now, there are marketplaces, and we'll get into that on another day. Something like OpenSea.io is a place where people are selling a lot of NFTs right now, but they take a very small cut. So compare that 88% that was going to the publishers to 5% or less going to a blockchain marketplace. That's a massive difference. So you can see that you don't need to sell nearly as many copies of a product to make a pretty decent living, or at least an equivalent living that you would be making going to a traditional publisher. Now, 95% or more of people who actually get their books published in a traditional way have to have a job outside of their author business, because most of them just don't sell that many books. So this is a whole new paradigm. I want people to understand that this ability to go directly to your clients or fans is a massive paradigm shift. One of the other things here too is that all of the data that goes on the blockchain, it's what we call decentralized as opposed to a centralized system. So it's available for everybody to read information off the blockchain. It's transparent, and if you compare that to, say, Facebook actually doesn't allow you to get access to their database and see what's really going on behind the scenes. Blockchain is the opposite of that. Anybody can go, if they have the technological know-how, get into the data and start looking at it in a variety of ways. What that means for you as an artist, it allows you to know exactly who paid for what, when they paid for it, and how much. And those transactions, of course, the money should be coming directly into your account. Oh, looks like we've cut out again a little bit. Let's see if I can fix that. There we go. That means you should get money into your cryptocurrency wallet, another topic we'll cover in a future podcast, immediately. When I say immediately, I mean, 10 minutes, something like that, for another block to be written to the chain. It's not a terribly long amount of time compared to, say, 18 months that you would be waiting for a publisher. Now, a second benefit, I know that was a long first benefit, right? There are a lot of benefits, and so I'm really excited to share this with a lot of people. But a second benefit for NFTs for creators is the ability to earn a percentage of all subsequent second-hand sales. So again, I'll go back to the book publisher. This would work for a musician as well in the days of CDs. But we'll go to the book publisher. So right now, if you sell a copy of your book, you would eventually make a little bit of money off of that. But then secondhand sales at a used bookstore Well, obviously you never see that. It's the used bookstore that's making that money. The publisher's not making money, and neither are you. But with NFTs and smart contracts, you can write those in such a way that you as the artist would get paid any time that NFT gets transferred. That product, essentially, that you've created, this little unit, a non-fungible token, gets transferred from one person to another. If there's a money transaction involved in that, you can actually program it in the smart contract. You get a small cut of that. Now, I say small cut, you could take a huge cut, but then people probably wouldn't be trading them nearly as often. So that really gives you a really good handle on royalties, something that you create today that gets sold once. If it is something that really gains traction and people want to collect what you've created, it has a value in the marketplace that stands the test of time, then you could be earning again and again and again. So obviously you as an artist can't show up to a used bookstore and go, hey, I see that you have 4 or 5 of my books on your shelf. Could I look at your books and see if you've sold a few in the past few months, and could I get a percentage of that? Well, of course, they just laugh you out of the store. They probably wouldn't even know how to look at that data in the first place. But you can do that on the blockchain, which is fantastic. And the fact that it's automatically happening in the background. It's not something that you have to have a CPA go check on. The smart contract is taking care of that on an automated basis, which is fantastic. Another benefit, you've heard, of course, horror stories of managers and accountants embezzling money from artists, whether that's movie stars or any kind of artist that you're looking at, musicians, you name it, right? You get to the, you made $50 million in the course of 5 years, and how is it that you've gone bankrupt all of a sudden? Wesley Snipes comes to mind for some reason, right? So we put our trust in these individuals because we want to focus on our craft. We want to focus on the creations and the art that we're trying to put out into the world. And we have to trust certain individuals who might take advantage of us. It's hard. It's hard to keep track of that kind of thing. And that could take a heck of a lot of your time if you're really trying to, be the police officer checking up on your managers and accountants. Right now, we have that issue with trust. The blockchain is setting us up in a way that, done right, it creates a trustless ledger. We don't need to trust anybody. The data is there, and it's easy for us to have it be automated, and that way get what you're due, and not have somebody sticking their hand into the stream that should be going to you. Let's see here. This is an interesting benefit. So I put together a ridiculously long document of all the research that I've been doing, and a lot of the stuff will go into courses that I'll be putting out there. But I thought I would give some content out here and really help people understand why they may want to get into this game. So this one is really interesting for NFTs that gain a lot of value. And one example right now is there is an NFT series called the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and I'll have another podcast that will go into what they've done in detail. But let me just tell you that there are a few of their pieces of art, and visual art, which have gone over $1 million in value, and the original purchase price was a heck of a lot less than that. Maybe $5,000 or something like that. That's a huge gain in value. But to reap that value, you used to have to sell your NFT, and then you had it no longer. Well, people buy art because they love art. People interact with artists and musicians because they want to be part of that community, because That says something about who they are. It shows what you value in the world. And so it's understandable that you wouldn't want to sell that if you love the piece of art, but it would be really nice to get access to some of the value in that NFT. So let's say I'm a fan of yours and you've created something that has just skyrocketed in value. Well, there is this new technology that's coming out called token integrated peer-to-peer NFT lending. And so what this means is there will be people out there that will see the value in what you are owning, the NFT, $1 million, and they may choose to lend you money at a certain percentage. Maybe you need $200,000 for a down payment on a house. Well, you can actually access that cash and have a small interest rate and have to be paying that back. But it gives you power to utilize the value in the things that you own without actually having to get rid of them. And that idea of having to flip or sell something and then, be really sad that you no longer own it. This is actually really massive and coming online here pretty soon. I think there's a company in May 2022, so just recently, called Nexo.io. They've launched the first phase of this functionality in Europe for limited NFT series, right? So there are a few series that have massively increased in value and considered the peak of art on blockchain. Another example would be Tyler Hobbs' Fidenzas. They're also extremely highly valued and believe that they're going to hold their value. That's one of the main factors here. You wouldn't want something that's cyclically going up and down massively. And of course, you're not also going to borrow 100% of the value of it. So it's kind of a loan to value, kind of risk reward, interest rate mix here. But think of this in some ways like, if you own a house and you have equity in your house, your mortgage is $200,000, but your house has gone up in value and it's worth $800,000. There's equity in your home that you can access through something like a home equity line of credit, or you could refinance your home and pull some cash out. This is similar. There's a value, and there are people that are willing to lend against that value. And I am really annoyed with all of the video that's cutting out, but hopefully the audio doesn't cut out when we're running into that. Let's see, a couple more things here I'll cover, and then we'll get off. Ooh, I got James Mossman on the line here in chat. Is this a question? So James is my nephew. That's awesome. What do you say to the people who make the same comment of why buy it when I can just copy and paste the picture when referring to the NFTs? Okay, great. Now, right now, since NFTs are fairly new in practice, wonderful question, James, thank you. What we see most that people are putting out there are these, digital art pieces. They're JPEGs. So why can't I just copy and paste the JPEG and have that on my computer or wherever I want to have it? And oh, great, my wife is making a smoothie in the background, so you can tell this is a first day rough streaming video. So anyway, I apologize if you hear that noise in the background. Back to James's question. The squirrel, the NFT, JPEGs, right? Copying a JPEG. JPEGs are small, they're easy to copy, even at the highest resolution. A good example here, I'll go back to Bored Ape Yacht Club as an example. When I buy an NFT that is one of these images, it's almost like an animated, well, it's not animated, but you get the idea. It's like a cartoon image of an ape with a whole bunch of different characteristics. Mostly it's just from kind of the chest up, right? They're wearing hats, they've got pipes, maybe they got earrings and different hair color and all kinds of different things, right? So each one is unique. But the thing that I would get if I buy a Bored Ape, I don't get just the JPEG. I actually get the copyright, which means I get the ability to monetize that ape how I see fit. That means I could put that ape on a t-shirt. It means I can name that ape. It means I could go and create a weekend cartoon with my ape if I had those kinds of connections and wanted to put that out there. Go to Hollywood and say, I got this great idea that is going to star my particular Bored Ape. So it's interesting. You get these extension of rights. Now, it's not always that way with an NFT, but that's something that can be programmed in the smart contract, and it gives you potential more value rather than just owning the JPEG. Now, a lot of people don't even care about that kind of thing. They care that they truly do own the unique and actual item. So I guess you could say, okay, why would I want to own the Mona Lisa, the original that happens to be in the Louvre in Paris, France? Why would I want to own that original when I could easily just get a copy of it? I mean, there are copies out there that are arguably just as good or really close, but I'd know the difference. There's a history that comes along with that, and there is a value to something being the original. So those are the kind of two short answers. There are a lot of other things that can come with NFTs, and we will get into those on different streaming days. I think one good example would be there's a guy, Gary Vaynerchuk. They call him Gary V, and he's created a series called V Friends, and his little V Friend NFT images are like little doodles of characters that he's created. What's a generous gorilla or something. It's like he was in like he was in, I don't know, 3rd grade, 4th grade, and he drew a picture of a gorilla and just wrote on there generous gorilla. Why would people buy these for tens of thousands of dollars? Well, it's because Gary has created different benefits that you get with the NFT. So the image is a representation of those benefits. So for the people who buy the generous gorilla, they are going to get access to Gary V's yearly V Friends event in the East Coast. It's a huge place where a whole bunch of entrepreneurs usually come together and interact and meet with each other and network and learn all kinds of great things about marketing. So they get access to that for 3 years. He may also get a one-on-one with Gary in another situation. Like Gary's flying from New York to Los Angeles, and he would be generous and say, look, if you can meet me at the airport, you get my ear a one-on-one with me while I'm in the air going between these two cities, and get to ask me whatever you want. These are the kinds of things that Gary has tied to his NFTs that make them valuable beyond being just a JPEG. So that's, oh good, audio's been fine too. So even though my video's cutting out, you can still hear me, which is great. So hopefully, James, that was gave you a little bit of a taste of what's possible with NFTs and why it might be more than just buying an image that somebody could copy. Hopefully that's helpful. Let's see here, more benefits. Yeah, let's see. Blockchain transactions. Yeah, I think I touched on this, but you get paid immediately and automatically to your cryptocurrency wallet of choice. compare, if you compare that to traditional publishing, like I said, you have this massive delay of payment. So let's say I put an NFT series of 1,000 pieces out, and I do a good job of marketing that, and people get interested in what I have to create. Anytime they quote mint one of those NFTs and it becomes a real thing that ends up in their wallet, money moves, and I see it within a matter of minutes. So it's a way, I think, for artists to really help with their cash flow. They can come up with a project and push something out very quickly if they find that they need cash for something, or if they, to pay your rent. But also if there's a big event in your life that's coming up, you would like to amass some money for. A perfect example for a musician would be coming up with an NFT series that gives people rights to come to a concert when you're doing a tour. Let's say you're going to go all around the United States, 50 different dates, 50 different cities, and the NFTs give the holders rights to be able to go to that concert for free. Well, the cool thing is let's say I buy one, I go to the concert in New York, but I can't make it to any of the other concerts. I can sell the NFT to someone who wants to go in Cleveland, and those rights would transfer. Now remember, the artist probably programmed that they get a cut of that each leg along the way, right? And so they're still making a little bit of money here and there, and they're getting people out to their shows. So it might be one way for me, who I love this musician, I go to their gig, and then I introduce them to a friend by selling them the NFT in Cleveland who's never seen them before, and that person now becomes a big fan. So NFTs give you this ability to have your fans share, not just, hey, I found this really cool person, I think they're awesome, you should listen to them, but it really helps with building in automatic interactions and accelerating them into becoming raving fans. So it's the NFTs are it's great. It's a piece of art, it's benefits, it's marketing, it's so many things wrapped up in one bundle done right. It really gives the artist some amazing power that they haven't had up to this point. And I really am going to have to figure out why this video keeps cutting out. I think that's it for today. I just wanted to cover some benefits of why NFTs could be great for artists. We will talk about luxury brands later, and we'll kind of compare digital luxury versus physical luxury. I have so much wonderful stuff to share with everybody. And as I said, this is day 2 of actually recording some video, so I know it's rough, but that's the only way to get good at things, is to rinse and repeat. Try again. Practice doesn't make perfect, but practice certainly gives us some progress, and I'm really excited to make some progress on this. And this is the last thing I want to say, and I'm going to hit on this a lot. So, we've heard about blockchain and cryptocurrencies for a number of years. It first came out as a real world thing when Bitcoin came out in 2009, but we're still in the infancy of this. I mean, it is, the baby's barely out of the womb, okay? NFTs, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, Web 3.0, you're going to hear a lot of these terms over the next few years. And if you think you've already missed out, I'm here to tell you you haven't. You have not missed out. You are right at the beginning, okay? And this is why you want to learn this stuff now. It's like the Wild West, okay? People are going west. People got their wagons, and they put all their stuff in it, and they're just setting out and thinking, I'm going to go stake my land. I'm going to find a new homestead. I'm going to hit the gold rush, right? I mean, there are a lot of opportunities out there when you're at this stage of the frontier, and it's a super exciting place to be. I'm a 50-year-old guy, and I haven't been this charged up about possibilities in such a long time that it's like I'm being reborn, And I really want to help people recognize that this is a once in a generation or multi-generation opportunity. And it takes a little bit of learning, but heck, I mean, we all know the world is shifting. It is crazy global, and we need to embrace it. We can't rely on the old types of jobs that we had before. We can't rely on the old models that we had before, especially as artists. Those big companies, the record companies, the big publishers, even the gallery owners that might get some fine art out there. It's going to be a different world for them. So let's just set them aside and take charge of our own destinies, okay? So that's it today. Phenomenal Future program, Phenomenal Future podcast. I'm Jason Brenizer, and wow, I'll be back tomorrow because, like I said, 365 days in a row, and I'm only on day 3. So I guess I shall stop my streaming. Adios from